Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of E&A Sports Talk. So, in the beginning of the season, I predicted the Chicago Bears would make it to the Super Bowl. And now, I'm not too proud of this. I said, you know what? Boldly, I said, they are not going to be the 2018 Jaguars. The 2018 Jaguars had Blake Bortles. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is Blake Bortles. The 2018 Jaguars had Doug Marrone. I don't think Matt Nagy is Doug Marrone. And I said, you know what, the Jags defense was great, but they lost confidence in these two players, especially with Leonard Fournette. Now the same exact thing is happening. You take a look at their run game, stats are down. And this is my key to the Bears' success. They play the Lions this week. They're going to need to run on the Lions all day long, because the Lions don't really have a good pass rush. They have a decent run stopping, but they're going to need to establish a run on the Lions. This is their season right here. This is where you got to make your money. This is Mitch Trubisky. He's a leader. He's the leader of this team. Mitch Trubisky's going to need to take some steps. I mean, you take a look at his stats. Let's start with that. Take a look at his stats from last year to this year. They're gone down. They've gone down to about what they were in his rookie year. That's regression right there. That's yards per attempt down. Yards per game down. Let's see. Touchdowns. The touchdowns are doing better. He's not really turning the ball over, but I haven't really been watching the game, but I'd almost assume that's because, why they're dropping the ball. Because every single time I look at PFF, the most inaccurate passers downfield, Mitch Trubisky's on that list. He's on the list of most inaccurate passers, dumbest plays, most interception-worthy plays, that sort of a stat. He's always up there. Out of anybody, that's him. And Mitch Trubisky is going to take a leadership role right now. He's saying, you know what, guys, this is on me. We're going to shut off all the outside noise. Some people are criticizing him for it, but they know it's right. That's what that means. If they turn it off, that means they know it's right. And let's see if they turn it into a rallying call. Is this team going to rally behind Mitch, or are they just going to give up on him? That's going to be the main thing now. This is where their season starts. It's officially November now. I'm not sure if last week was November just yet. I think it was, actually. But it's November. This is where the season starts. 10 wins is what you aim for. That's what you're aiming for. The Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, one of those teams is going to have 10 wins. I'd lean towards Green Bay. Minnesota's probably going to lose this week against Dallas, and you own Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. You're 3-0 against them. All you need to do is beat them one more time. They lose this week, and all of a sudden you're a half a game behind them. And that probably means you're going to be tied with them. And Minnesota has struggled in prime time. This is when they're going to start to play their prime time games. They still have a lot of prime time games left against the Chargers. I think they have one against the Packers. The Minnesota Vikings are long from done. And plus, they're a little bit rattled. They're a little bit banged up. I think their offensive line is playing out of their ass right now. You really think they went from worst offensive line to best offensive line this year? I don't really think so. I'm not really buying that. So the Bears can easily, with the win right now, hop back up into this division. I could break down their schedule week by week, but that's kind of boring. They have a lot of losable games. Here. And the odds are low. I mean, Vegas isn't really favoring them. With the division, they're plus 4,500, and the lines are plus 1,800. Meaning they have pretty much the same record. Logistically, they have the same record. And you're telling me it's like the Lions have a 3 times about better chance to win the division than the Bears do? I mean, come on. That's what Vegas is telling you right now. But every single stat that they have gone down. And the main thing is rushing. Like I mentioned before, they're going to have to win in the trenches this week. They lost Jordan Howard in the offseason. He was a power back, but David Montgomery is going to have to step up. And the main problem with the run game, I don't think, is the running backs. I think it's scheme. I think Matt Nagy is trying to do a little bit too much with, plays and doing different things. And the offensive line is not ready, and that has to do with a lot of coaching too. This offensive line with pass blocking, they're a little worse than Miami, a little better than Miami, and a little worse than the New York Jets. And those are not two teams that you want to be in the name with if you're talking about offensive line. That's not championship offensive line play. Championship teams don't have that bad offensive lines. That even Lamar Jackson couldn't succeed behind that, offensive line. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's the next coming of Joe Montana and the next coming of Colin Kaepernick. Well, I'm not really sure Colin Kaepernick is amazing, but I'm not sure he's as good of a passer as Colin Kaepernick. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure yet. The book's still out on him, but we'll see. we will see how this offensive line develops. This is not a championship team right now. You have that better of an offensive line. Their pass blocking is a little bit better. It's around like 18th. And Mitch Trubisky is still, he's making rookie mistakes. And he's in his third year now. He's played 34 games, pretty much his third year. He's been inconsistent. He's showed up some games, not some games. He's been, injured. I think he got benched, Chase Daniel. But if you're Matt Nagy, you got to play him through the entire season. If you're the Bears, you got to force it. You got to say, he's the guy. Chase Daniel, what do you think? He's going to take you on a Super Bowl run? No, if it's anybody, it's Mitch Trubisky. It really is. They invested too much in him just to give up on him now. You got to know whether he's the guy or not. And I'd lean towards not right now. Obviously, that's what the consensus is. I'm not sure if I'm breaking any news. I'm not sure if this is a valid opinion. I'm not sure if this is like good enough for you guys. But yeah, Mitch Trubisky, he's going to have to ride out the rest of the season. They're going to have to give him reps. I mean, in that Rams game, who'd they play against? He had like 50 attempts passing. And, you're just going to need him to keep on getting reps. He's been injured. He's been on and off the field. He's going to need to get some momentum. He's going to need to stay healthy. The partially why I don't think he's successful is, he's been on and off the field. For some people, that's good because they get more reps, like Carson Wentz, I guess. But, for Mitch Trubisky, he's going to need to keep on playing. He's going to need to get used to everything. You're going to have to make these mechanics, let these mechanics be rhythm. Yeah, there's so much you could do in practice, but then when you're in the actual game, you revert back to your instincts. You revert back to what's comfortable because you don't want to think about the mechanics. The mechanics are a given. He's a hard worker. He's going to keep his head down again, shutting out all the outside noise, and we'll see whether he develops into a leader or not. This is his football livelihood. This is his career. This is what he's doing. If you think about it, he's like 24, 25 years old. He's made his, millions of dollars. He's getting paid like probably $7 million a year based on his number 2 overall pick. He doesn't even have to work a day in his life, for the rest of his life, pretty much. This is it for you. And you need to focus. You need this team to focus. You need everyone to focus. Quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and Matt Stafford not Matt Stafford, Derek Carr. Everybody has lit the secondary up in Detroit. Everybody. And that's because they don't have a good pass rush. This offensive line is going to need to take a big step. Again, they cannot win with this bad of an offensive line. And I want to move into like the stats more specifically. Every single category they're down. Last year they were pretty much 1 and 2 in turnovers, and we knew this wouldn't stand. We knew that they'd go down. But the loss of Akeem Hicks, he hasn't really been doing the dirty work. It doesn't really show up in the stat book. The dirty work that he's done for the past years for the Bears, it's gone now, and he comes back in December, so you can make a run with that. I'm not too worried about the defense right now, but the offense, again, they don't give enough time for the Bears to catch their breath. 12 seconds every single drive, less, fewer plays. Again, they're doing a little bit better with turnovers this year, but just dumb penalties, fundamentals. They need to go back. They need to go back to the Patriot way. They're doing, they're flashy. They don't have the base down. They have all the flashy plays and they have all the rule books, but Matt Nagy's not teaching them how to bear down. Yeah, that kind of came in my mouth. I didn't really mean to make that pun, but it works. The Bears, every single stat, they're gone down. Like last year, they're number 1 in like passing and rush defense, and now they're number 10. It's not that bad. But the Bears were mediocre in passing. They were mediocre in rushing last year. Even pretty good at rushing last year. And now they're bad. You cannot be bad at anything if you're going to be a championship team. You can't be bad. And that's what they are right now. They're bad in a lot of categories. And yeah, so I've recorded this video so many times. I was going to make it longer. Like the first iteration was like 13 minutes, but now we're only at like 9 minutes. So I can like take a little breather because I had a lot of things I wanted to talk about. But if I had to lean towards it, I don't think the Bears are doing it. There's so many signs, there's so much history saying, you know what, that's a no. But we've also seen a lot of times the Vegas with the Washington Nationals, with the St. Louis Blues, they've counted a lot of teams out because they thought, you know what, this is it. But all you need to do is rattle a couple wins together, and football is a funny sport. Let's say Aaron Rodgers gets injured. Let's say they sneak into a wild card, and then Russell Wilson goes down, and when they're playing, the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know. It's crazy things happen in football, so you can never completely rule anybody out completely. Like, you can't. The strange things happen in sports. And, yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things here. And if Matt Nagy, he needs to stay focused. He can't be thinking about Cam Newton. He can't be thinking about their next quarterback in the next year's draft. They don't even have a top draft pick next year. They committed to Khalil Mack. They're in a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems right now. You had to bank that Mitch Trubisky was the guy. That was what that's what you were riding on. That's why they got to stick with him. That's why they got to stick with him ultimately. You can't just move on because they have a lot of cap that have to pay to people. Cam Newton may be a temporary Band-Aid, but then you're going to have to pay him the year after that. So this is the problem. Look at that 49ers. I made a video about it. I'm like, things can change this year. You could say the Bears are going to win now, are winning now in the trade with Mitch Trubisky or whatever. But ultimately, the 49ers may win. I'm like, if the Bears don't win the division, the 49ers do. And all of a sudden, all these defensive picks have been accumulating. You never know. And all really does depend on the quarterback. They need to put Mitch Trubisky in a situation to succeed. And, yeah, we'll see. Matt Nagy cannot be looking at other quarterbacks. He needs to focus on his guy and just winning. He needs to focus week by week. And this team, it's two ways. It's sink or swim. And it's exciting. This is a really good narrative. One of my top narratives in the beginning of the season is the NFC North. What happens? Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford is having a sneaky good season, that sort of thing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think of everything we discussed, and I'll make sure to reply, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.